Hey, what is going on YouTube? It's your friend Jordan here, and I just got a brand new microphone, so I thought that I would use it to tell a story time with Jordan. And if you think the audio quality sounds better, let me know. If you think it sounds worse, let me know. Just give me some feedback on the audio quality. But anyways, this is a really good story time, so you guys should stay listening with your ears. And yeah, so let me get started. Just a side note before I get started. I was with my friend who has been in almost every other story time where stuff goes bad. Like, whenever something goes wrong, he's there. And he's usually the reason stuff goes wrong. And if he's watching this, he already knows what story I'm about to tell before I tell it, because stuff went bad. But it was a pretty cool story, and yeah, I guess I'll just get started. So we're walking from 7-Eleven. It was nighttime, and he lives in a different country, and he was in for the summer, and he was about to go back that week. So he's like, hey, I gotta do something crazy before I leave, man. I gotta do something crazy. I was like, okay. And we're walking by a football field, which is the field of my rival high school, and they had a game going on. So I'm like, hey, why don't you run across that football field? And he's like, okay, I'm gonna do it, man. And then we keep walking. I didn't think he was going to do it. And so I was about to go in there and do it because it seemed pretty fun. But I don't know. I didn't have running shoes on, and I was kind of scared. But, you know, there was a little part of me that wanted to, but a big part that didn't want to. So I ended up not doing it. So he goes in there, and he goes and stands by the coaches, right? He hops both fences to get in. There's like a big fence and then a little fence. He hops them both to get in, stands by the coaches, and he's just standing there for like 5 minutes. He's wearing skinny jeans, a wife beater, which is like a tank top, I don't know if everybody calls it that, and a weird like blue striped hat, right? And he's walking by the coaches. He doesn't look like a coach at all. He's the opposite of a coach, basically. And a little fun fact, like a couple weeks after this happened, I actually met the guy who coaches that team, and I didn't tell him about it. I think I should have, to see if he remembered this event. But anyways, back on to the actual story. So he's standing there, and he nudges one of the coaches, and he's like, hey, which team is ours? And the coach looks at him, walks over to the other coach, whispers something, walks back, and just says, hey, who are you? And so my buddy starts running across the field, slapping players on the heads, humping stuff. And I actually got the video here that I took with an iPod. So it's pretty crappy, but it'll play right now, and you can see what I'm talking about. I'm on the fence on the outside, ready to make a quick escape, because I think things through, unlike other parties involved in this story. But yeah, that'll just play right now, and then I'll talk about it after. For real, dude. That was savage. Alright, so as you see, he's running across the field yelling, and there's somebody yelling after him, and he like humps the training dummies, and it's pretty cool. So we run away, and we run around the corner, and there's this little, I don't know if it's a medical building or some kind of business building. And so we run across, and we hide in the bushes. We're just sitting there, like, catching our breath and talking about whatever. And looking back on it, this was the worst hiding spot we could have possibly... Like, there were people in their house, like, I guess who heard the yelling or something. They looked outside, and from their house, they could see us, like, hiding in the bushes. Because the light was on overhead, and the bushes were, like, losing their leaves. I don't even know if bushes do that, but they didn't have any leaves on them. And, yeah, it was, like, really bad hiding spot. So, anyways, like, 2 minutes pass, and we're like, okay, nobody's chasing us, because somebody was yelling. And, nobody's chasing us, we're just gonna walk home, and everything's gonna be good. So, we start walking, and we could see the football field from where we were walking. There was, like, one house in the way, like one row of houses, if you can imagine that. And so we're walking, and immediately after we start walking, we get about 50 feet, and we see this person jogging up, right? Just jogging up in the pitch black. And so I knew immediately what he was up to. And so I show my friend, I nudge him, I say, hey, this guy's like chasing us. And so his quick thinking and all the processes in his head all added up to, hey, we should go in a random house. So he says, hey, follow me. So he goes up to the house. He's like, he says it real loud. He's like, oh, let's just go home here. And it sounded like the fakest thing I've ever heard. Like, oh, let's go into this house because this is our house that we own and our parents are here. And the guy didn't believe it, which I don't blame him. We're not good actors, but he didn't believe it. So he starts running after us. So we hop off the porch, start running. I didn't know what was happening. I wasn't going full speed. My friend booked, though. And so the guy grabs me, like grabs my neck and shoulder and just turns me and looks at me. And I couldn't think, if I like had my presence of mind, I would have kicked him in the nuts or something. Probably not. He looked like he was 19 or, yeah, probably 18, 19. So a couple years older than me, but I don't know. He could have this could have gone really bad depending on what happened. So anyways, he has me in a death grip. And I look at him. I say, I like, what or something. I don't know what I said. Something stupid. And all of a sudden, he just throws me aside and starts running after my buddy. So I start to run after him, and I realize how stupid that would be if I was running after the person chasing my friend. So I run the other way, which, it could have been bad, I guess, if they caught up. Like, I wouldn't have been there for anything to help him, but whatever. I ran the other way. You can't blame me for that. So I go and hide in the bushes, which is the worst hiding spot. And I just sit there. And by then, the neighbors had all come out, and they're, like, watching this go on. And they just see me go back and sit in these bushes. And everybody can see me, like, through the entire block. It was the worst hiding spot. But I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know it till I, like, got out and looked at it. I'm like, oh, crap, that was a bad spot. But, so I was wearing, like, a green hoodie and, yeah, I think that's it, just a green hoodie. It was kind of cold out. So after a couple minutes, I realized he's not coming back, and I realized that, like, hey, I need to get back to my friend's house and regroup or something, or call him on his phone or something. So I'm in the bushes, by the way, and my friend who I'm with, his mom calls me on the phone, and so I'm in the bushes trying to be quiet. I'm like, hello? Hello? She's like, yeah, Jordan, have you seen my son? I'm like, yeah, he's with me right here. And she's like, oh, well, you guys need to get home. You're supposed to head back in a little bit or something. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll call you back. We're right down the street. She's like, why are you whispering? I'm like, I gotta go, bye. And so she hangs up, and I go walk around the corner, which there's another bush, which is a way better hiding spot that I didn't think of. So I go there, and I take my sweatshirt off, because I was thinking, like, if they come back to look for me, the dude knows what I look like. And he knows what I'm wearing, and he knows my get-up. So I gotta switch real quick. And I realize this story is gonna take a little bit, but bear with it. It's pretty cool. Maybe you hate it, I don't know. But, so I take it off, and I start walking down the other street, and I call him. And I can't hear him, because his phone is a piece of crap. Like, usually when he's talking loud, I can barely hear him. And he's trying to whisper, so there's no chance. I just say, hey, like, text me if you can hear me or something. He says, yeah, I'm on the next street over. He texts me this. Says, I'm on the next street over. Just come, you'll see me. So I start walking down that street, and I had my sweatshirt tied around my waist, because I wanted to show that I was like the most non-threatening person in the world. Maybe they thought I was gay or something, and they wouldn't hurt me. I don't know. Maybe they thought I was some weirdo with his sweatshirt tied around his waist. I don't know. I was hoping that they would think any of that. So I go walking down the street, and I hear, hey, Jordan, hey. And I thought it sounded like another person who I know. So I look, I'm like, hey, who is that? And I see him. He's hiding under a porch. He's like, hey, over here, come on. And I like cross the street to go over to him. And he's saying, look, I lost him. I don't know where he went. We need to get out of here. So we start walking, and I say, wait, we can't be seen together. Like, it doesn't matter what we look like. If they see two people, they're gonna put two and two together, figure out it's us. So I say, look, like, hop fences in the backyard, or just go on the grass so you can get away if they come looking. It was only one person at the time, but you'll see what happens. So as soon as he leaves sight, he says, okay, I'll go. He goes out of sight, and the second he does that, I just snap my fingers to show. Like, the instant he does that, a car pulls around the corner. And this was the most suspicious looking car in the history of suspicious looking cars. Like, I don't care about like windowless creeper vans looking suspicious. This was suspicious. It had its brights on, right? All the windows down, no music playing, and it was going at like 5 miles an hour. Okay, it wasn't like, you know how you let go of the brakes and it just kind of idles forward? It was going like that. It was creeping up. And so I try to look as normal as possible. I look back, I see it, and I'm like, oh crap, that's him and some friends. I just know it. So I was walking right by, it was like an intersection in the subdivision. And so I'm walking as normal as I possibly can. Like, I was like arms swinging out side to side, and I hear them pulling up to me, and then they stop. And so I look over nonchalantly, just like, hey, what's up? And I didn't say that. I was thinking that. I didn't want to say anything. And so I just keep walking. I turn forward, keep walking, and they look at me, and they roll their windows down. I'm like, oh, crap. I get ready to run. And then I hear them roll it back up, and they go, and they turn down the other street. So as soon as they do that, they get out of sight, I start running. And I was running on the grass, so you couldn't hear my footsteps, you know? I felt like that dude from Assassin's Creed. It was pretty cool. I felt awesome when I was running on the grass so people couldn't hear me. It was a good feeling. I don't know. So anyways, I somehow I see my friend coming up behind me or something. I don't know where he was. He was hiding somewhere. Or I don't know where he was, but he comes up from behind me, and I tell him what happened and all that, and he says, oh crap, we gotta get home. So then this is where the story gets kind of boring, I guess. We just go home, and then I get a ride back to my house, and it all ends up happily ever after. Man, that was anticlimactic. Holy crap. I wanted it to have a good ending, but I guess the overall moral of the story is, if you don't want to get beat up by people in a car, you have to look like a weirdo. I guess that's it, because only weirdos wear their sweatshirt around their waist. My dad does that. How weird is that? He goes out into public with the sweatshirt on, he'll just take it, or he'll tie it around his neck. I'm like, oh my god, why would you ever do that? And then he has Crocs on with like socks to top it all off. I'll be walking around his house, right? And he wears Crocs around his house. So every time he touches me, it shocks me. Because Crocs are rubber, and there's no static discharge to the ground when he like moves around. So every time he touches me, it just shocks me. And it's annoying. Moral of the story, don't wear Crocs. Don't tie your sweatshirt around your waist unless you're about to get beat up. And I hope you enjoyed the story. Leave some comments below if you feel like it. And I love you guys. Goodbye.